The vision of building a permanent life in the United Kingdom has taken a dramatic turn for countless African migrants and their families. Securing indefinite leave to remain, once a challenging but attainable goal, has now become significantly more costly, more restrictive, and for many, heartbreakingly out of reach. The UK government has introduced a series of tough new immigration rules, all of which are now in force. These measures are fundamentally reshaping the experience of those on work visas, leaving thousands uncertain about their future. In this report, we will examine the three most consequential changes to ILR rules currently affecting African migrants. First, we'll look at the steep rise in the salary threshold, a financial barrier that many will simply be unable to overcome. Second, we'll unpack the new restrictions on dependents, which are forcing families into impossible choices between maintaining their lives in the UK and staying close to loved ones abroad. And third, we'll assess the removal of the shortage occupation list, a key route for many skilled professionals that has now been closed. These are not hypothetical concerns, they are realities thousands are confronting today. Before we continue, a quick note: if you find this coverage valuable, please give this video a like so that others who need this information can find it. Share it with your friends, family, and community networks. To our returning subscribers, welcome back. Your support makes this work possible. And if you're new here, consider subscribing so you don't miss critical updates like this. Let's begin with the most impactful change: the rise in the salary requirement for indefinite leave to remain. Previously, a skilled worker needed to earn at least £26,200 per year to qualify for ILR after 5 years of employment. While not easy, this figure was achievable for many across different sectors. That has now changed entirely. The threshold has been increased to £38,700, an almost 50% jump. This adjustment, based on the median salary for skilled roles across the UK, immediately disqualifies a substantial number of workers who have been contributing to the country's economy for years. The impact is especially harsh on migrants from across Africa, many of whom work in critical but lower-paid sectors such as logistics, hospitality management, junior IT positions, and administrative roles. For those who built their plans around the old requirements, this policy shift moves the target so far that their path to settlement becomes mathematically unattainable. It means that even after years of service, perhaps 4.5 years into a 5-year journey, workers could still be denied ILR simply because their earnings fall short of the new benchmark. There is, however, one significant exception: health and care workers. Individuals on the health and care worker visa route remain exempt from the £38,700 threshold, preserving a more accessible path to settlement for those in these essential roles. Health and care workers remain an important exception to the new salary rules, benefiting from a lower threshold in recognition of their vital contributions to the NHS and social care sectors. This concession has offered a crucial lifeline for many. However, it also underscores a growing divide. While nurses and senior care assistants retain a clear path to settlement, skilled professionals in other essential but less shielded fields may find that door firmly closed. But the financial hurdle is only part of the challenge. The second major shift strikes at the very core of family life and has caused profound hardship for many. This relates to new, stricter regulations on dependents. That is, spouses, partners, and children under the government's revised rules. Building and maintaining a family life in the UK has become considerably more difficult. The care sector has felt the brunt of these changes. Although principal applicants on the health and care visa are shielded from the higher salary requirements, they face an even tougher limitation. New care workers and senior care assistants are now barred from bringing any dependents with them when they move to the UK. This forces individuals, whether it's a nurse from Nigeria, a carer from Ghana, or a healthcare assistant from Kenya, into an impossible dilemma: accept the job opportunity, but leave their families behind, or decline the offer in order to keep their loved ones together. This policy has sparked widespread criticism, with many labeling it as both harsh and short-sighted. It essentially sends a message that the families of those caring for the UK's most vulnerable are not welcome here. For migrants on other skilled worker visas, dependents are still allowed. But the financial bar has been raised significantly. Not only must the main applicant meet the £38,700 salary threshold, but they must also prove they have enough income to support their family without relying on public funds. This dual financial strain makes the prospect of a united family life in the UK even more unattainable for many, reflecting a broader shift in focus towards individual workers rather than the families and communities they form. The third major change reshaping the immigration landscape is the replacement of the shortage occupation list, long a vital support for skilled migrants. For years, the shortage occupation list, or SOL, identified jobs where the UK faced labor shortages, allowing applicants in those roles to qualify for visas with a 20% reduced salary requirement. It covered numerous engineering positions, technology roles, and other skilled trades critical to the economy. That system has now been scrapped and replaced by a much shorter and less generous immigration salary list ISL. Many professions that previously qualified under the SOL are now excluded from the ISL, and the salary discount for those still listed is far smaller. This shift has effectively closed the door on a large number of skilled professionals from across Africa. An IT specialist from South Africa, a civil engineer from Ethiopia, or a graphic designer from Egypt who once met the criteria under the old list, may now find their occupation removed, forcing them to meet the full £38,700 salary threshold. This tightening of immigration policies has made the UK a far less appealing and competitive destination for skilled professionals worldwide. So, what does this all add up to? Simply put, the road to permanent residency in the UK has turned into a high-stakes balancing act. The 5-year journey toward indefinite leave to remain requires continuous residence under an eligible visa. Now, under these new regulations, the pressure is immense. If a migrant loses their sponsor position, they have just 60 days to secure a new employer willing to offer sponsorship and at a salary that meets the significantly raised threshold. Achieving this is an enormous challenge for thousands. The constant threat of redundancy or contract termination means living with the fear that years of effort could unravel overnight, forcing them to leave the country. This looming uncertainty is a daily source of stress and anxiety. In summary, the updated ILR regulations mark a profound change in the UK's immigration strategy. The combination of a steep salary requirement, stringent rules on dependents, and the elimination of the traditional shortage occupation list has created daunting barriers for many African migrants who have diligently followed the rules, paid taxes, and contributed valuable skills to British society. The prospect of a secure, permanent future is now slipping away. The system has been reshaped to be more selective, costlier, and less supportive of family unity. This new reality is forcing many individuals and families to reconsider their plans and question whether the British dream remains attainable or worth the heavy personal and financial sacrifices. I want to hear from you. Have you or someone you know been impacted by these recent ILR changes? What are your thoughts on the new rules? Please share your stories and opinions in the comments below. This dialogue is more important now than ever. Thank you for watching. Please note, this video is intended for informational purposes only and should not be considered a substitute for professional legal advice. I'll see you in the next video.